Hey, hi guys, this is Faizan and welcome to today's session on C programming for beginners. Now, before we start, can you guys quickly confirm in the chat if I'm audible or not? Is everything okay? Can you see me? Can you see my screen? And is the slide deck visible to you guys? Can you see this pointer over here? If everything is good, just quickly confirm in the chat. Write a quick yes or no so that we can get started. Hi guys. Class will be silent, okay? Just quickly confirm in the chat. Voice is not okay. Okay. Great, guys. Great. So now, before we start, let me give you a quick tour of how our academy looks like. Okay. Some of you are saying not audible. Guys, please check your. Most of you can hear me properly. So the ones who are not able to hear me, check your audio. Okay. So just type in Great Learning Academy in any browser you want, and then the first link that is there, just click on it and it will redirect you to this page. This is our Great Learning Academy. Now over here you can find a lot of things. First is this career path. If you're looking for something that is related to IT and software, just click on IT and software. Okay. And obviously there are a lot of other things as well: machine learning, AI, cloud computing, software. We have software developer. You can click on it and follow the process. Okay. For career transformation programs, we have also courses, or PG courses what we say, and we have something related to software development, and these are the courses that we have a master's in computer application, advanced software engineering with IIT Madras. Okay, so all of these are the PG courses. Now these are all paid courses. Now if you're looking for something absolutely free, those are listed down here. Now if you're looking for something that is related to IT and software, just click on it, IT and software, and these are our popular courses. Okay, data structures and algorithms in Java programming is there, and all of these courses are absolutely free. Now how do you enroll for this? Just click on this. Here you can see enroll for free. Just click on it and follow the process, and you can also check what are the skills covered in this course. Okay, and these are the calculation of time complexity, which is very important, common sorting algorithms and recursion. Okay, and once you are done with this data structures and algorithms in Java course, you will get a completion certificate of completion, right? How you can get this, and what is the process of doing this? You just have to answer 6 questions correctly out of 10. That's it, you can get it. Okay, and now once you're done with this, you can just quickly then add these things to your resumes or in your LinkedIn profiles, and if there are any projects, you can add them as well. Okay, so these are all about the free courses that we have. Okay, let me just show you other courses. Now if someone is comfortable in Hindi and he wants to learn in Hindi, we have courses available in Hindi as well. You see over here, courses in Hindi. Again, you follow the same process, enroll yourself and follow along. Okay, yes, class is not started yet, we will just start. Okay, so these are all the courses. Digital marketing is there, Linux is there, JavaScript is there, Tableau is there, Splunk, CSS, all of these courses. Okay, now if you want to find out what are the live sessions that we take in a week, right? So those are also here, upcoming live sessions. You can see tomorrow there will be a session on ethical hacking, then HTML and front end development by Ritvik, and tomorrow by Ram. Okay, so you can view all the live sessions over here as well. Okay, so now without further ado, let's get started with our session. Now what are the things that we are going to cover? So as we all know, the importance of C, right? It's known as the mother of all programming languages, and all the languages across like Java, C++ or JavaScript, they follow some programming constructs as well. Okay, right? I cannot understand Hindi. Okay, no problem, Salah. This session is in English. Okay, so now what are the things that we are going to cover in this session is, first we will introduce C, then we will learn about the syntax, then comments, then we will talk about a little bit about tokens, variables, how we do input, our how we will input our value and how do we get the output. Then we will talk about data types, different types of data types inbuilt, as well as which are user defined data types. Okay, operators, maths, what is the math library and what are the operations or functions in it. Okay, then we'll talk about Boolean, conditional statements, switch case, loops, arrays, pointers, which is very important, and finally we'll conclude our session with functions. So this is going to be a 1 hour Is free course certification useful? Yes, you can add those things in your resumes. If there are any projects, you can add them as well. Okay, so guys, I'm continuously monitoring your chat. If you have anything, I have learned digital marketing, got a certificate from great Prasad. Okay, so now if you have any questions related to anything, right, you can put them in the chat. Okay, and I will try to answer them as soon as I can. Okay, so I'm continuously monitoring your chat. Okay, Telugu says how much time for this session. Okay, this session will be for 1 hour. Okay guys, so if I'm looking on this side, that means I'm looking at your chat, so don't worry. Okay, okay, now let's get started. So now, first, this was developed, if you talk about C was developed by Dennis Ritchie. Okay, there's also a book written by Dennis Ritchie, which is one of the good books that you can read. And obviously, you have then Yashwant Kandletkar is there, you have Balaguru Swami, right? Then you have also, when you are done with the C, you have Test Your C Skills. Test Your C Skills is another book that you can refer to. Okay, so Dennis Ritchie introduced, or you can say that he developed this language, and it is a robust low level language. Now earlier, what happened, earlier we had assembly language, right? And assembly language was difficult in terms of binary, right? Anything, if you talk about machine language, right, that is difficult in zeros and ones. Then came assembly language. Okay, so assembly language was simpler, but it was not, what you say, it was not obvious to a layman, right? It was something that is that words are changed into what, your words are changed into, like if you want to add something, you have add, if you want to subtract, you have subtract, then you have these words associated with the assembly language. This was removed in low level language, it was removed. And that low level language, when you talk about any low level language, it is somewhat it can be associated with your side not visible. Okay, guys, is there any the beginner to start language programming, all topics covered today? Yes, Ashutosh, we will try to cover all these topics which I listed down over here, okay, in the agenda. Okay, so now it was something that was related to English language, and it was much more easy, right? It follows a procedural language, it's a procedural language which follows some structure, like you have a top down approach for it. Okay, so and most of the operating systems and hardware platforms support this language. Okay, and we have compilers available for executing this C program. Okay, for you can see, you have Turbo C. If you want to run it, Turbo C is there. Dave C++ is also there, wherein you can run your C programs. Okay, so all of these we can run it. Obviously, then you have some, if you don't want to download anything, you have right, you have Geeks for Geeks, wherein you have a tab on the on the left hand side, where you can pick either C++. You don't have to download anything, you can directly go with it. Okay, low level are system dependent, you can say that. Yes, Arpita. Okay, uses of C language. Okay, now uses can be many things, right? You can create games on it, you can create games, you can, and many softwares, right? Any softwares, inbuilt softwares like Flutter, you can say that some operating systems are built on with the help of this C programming language. Okay, Nawaz, this is not this session is not in Hindi. Okay, is certificate have value, sir? Yes, it depends, right? Obviously it will have value once, if you have let's suppose you have a certification of Java. Now you are not able to justify that, right? You have some projects, if you are able to justify that, then it will add some value. You need to justify whatever is there on your resume. Okay, so this session will be recorded or not? Yes, Vinay, after the session is over, it will be there on our YouTube channel. Okay, will this session be certified by a certificate? No, this session is you won't be getting any certificate. Okay, not for live sessions. Okay, now once you have written your program, we will see the structure, how to write it. Then there are two things. One is the compilation process. Now this is something that have holes in it, right? If you have some libraries included in it, or if you have some other things included, dependency on other program, then there will be holes. Now this compilation, once you are compiling this file, there will be holes in it. Now how you can fill those holes? With the help of this linking process, which is the next step. Now it will link all of your libraries with your program, so that you have a full working program, and it can run anywhere. Okay, obviously on your system, right? So that is the drawback of C, that it is a system dependent language, right? It's not a platform independent language. Okay, so that is why Java came into existence. Okay, so now This is all about introduction. Now we'll see moreover, you will get to know, right, what are the features, all of these things once you start coding in it. Okay, so you don't have to worry about anything else. So just, it is just a gist that it is a procedural language, it's robust, it's a low level language, it was developed by Dennis Ritchie. Okay, and it is support, it can, you can do a lot of things. Now what is the compilation process, or what is, how you can execute your C programs? There are two steps in it. One is compilation and another is linking. You will understand what these steps are. Okay. Okay. Sir, is there any software engineering course? Yes, we have paid courses, as well as we have different front end courses as well as back end courses. Why C programming is important? C programming is important because there is, if you ask me why it is important to me, I will say that, okay, if you want to do anything, be it from sorting your array, or be it something like as naive as sorting, right? You can do it, you can do it, and you have to do it on your own. There are no some functions, there are no functions that you can directly use and execute them. No, there are not. You have to run, you have to think about the logic. Your logic is building anything that is related to logic. C program will help in building that. Okay. Okay. Sir, uses of C programming, I told you earlier when it was developed, around, I don't know the exact date. It was developed around 90s, 80s or 90s, something like that. Hmm. Is there any other, so okay, yes, sir, can we use DSA? Yes, you can, you can use, you can implement data structures and algorithms in C. Yes. Can any recorded session available on C? Yes, we have in English. Yes, we have, those are available on our Great Learning Academy as well as on our YouTube channel. So please start from the beginning. This is the beginning, guys. Sunita, this is the beginning, and we just, I just explained what are the things that we are going to explain, and this is just the introduction. Okay. I'm new to programming. Okay. Okay. Just like, okay, login user, you can use HTML, you can use CSS, and you can use JavaScript in order to log in. Okay, so how to get a certificate from the C programming course? Just enroll and go to the go through the entire course, and then at the end you will have, you need to answer 6 questions correctly out of 10. Okay, in order to get that completion certificate. Okay, Mahesh. Okay, great. So now let's talk about the syntax. Now these are the libraries, or these are the preprocessor directives, right? In this you have your standard output input device, right? Output input, what are the output input files? Like printf, right? You haven't defined this function, but still you are able to use it. How? With the help of this. Okay, then there is conio. Okay, so we'll talk about this conio in the later part, right? For now, you can think of this as studio as your, which helps you to input and output your files. Okay, so if anything is related to input and output, you need to add this. As you can see that this is for printing out anything or pushing out something on our console. We have we defined this thing? No, we haven't, right? So now, then there is another function which is get ch, right? You can say get, or you can say get ch. This means get a character. Now unless and until you don't press enter, right? You don't press enter. So I have completed. Okay. So I can't understand. Nancy, what are you not able to understand? You can write it in the chat and I will explain it again. Okay. The idea of learning in Tamil. Okay, yes, I can understand. Okay. Nancy says twice. Okay. So now, what is this get? So again, this function you haven't defined, and it is present in the conio. Okay, the conio library. Again, what I said, once you compile these things, right, there are holes in it, right? So this is not a full-fledged program. Okay, so now there will be holes because these functions need to be linked, right? So this is where your linking comes into picture. Okay, so now once your files are linked, and then you will have a program which can be which we can run. Okay, and once we are able to run this program, once we have all of these things, now what is this void and main? This is where your execution starts. This is void means that it does not return anything. This is basically a function. Okay, so this is where your execution starts. Okay, and main is the driver function. Any compiler will look for this particular thing. Okay, get to hold the screen. Yes, it is used to hold the screen, and once you press any key, any character, right? It can be enter, it can be E, any alphabet, any enter, shift, anything. Once you have that thing, then it will get out of the screen that you were holding at that point. Okay. Okay, great Praveen, great. What is an array? We'll come to that. Okay, array is nothing but a contiguous memory location. Okay, it is a replacement of multiple variables. We'll get to those things as well. So this is a simple syntax of your C program. Now let's try to understand what are the comments. Now comments are one of the most important things, right? These are things that are ignored by the compiler. So let's talk about this particular slide, okay? And now let's try to write comments, right? So now you have just started your learning, right? And you don't know what does this function does, what does this library does. So you just write double slash and write, okay, this is the library for input and output. Okay, anything that is related to input and output, for now you can think of that this library will help you. Okay, so you put a double slash. Now anything, for example, you have this printf hello world. Now this is the hello world will be the output that you will be getting, right? Hello world will be the output, but you want to put some comments. So you put a let's suppose you are putting over here a multi-line comment like this. Let me just show you again. So you will put a multi-line comment over here and write, here I am printing hello world. Okay, just simple line. Okay, that's it. Now this will be ignored by the compiler and this will never be on your output. Okay, so this is the beauty of writing comments. These are the things that will help you in start when you just started, right? When to use printf, anything when you want to print anything on your console, right? Let's suppose you want to add two numbers and print the sum. At that time you will use this printf, right? So hello world is the most popular term. Yes, exactly, right? When we want to use. Okay, I think it is clear, right, Abraham? Okay, so anything when you want to add, let's suppose you have added your program. Okay, you want to add two numbers, so you define your data types and you define your variables, and then what you will do, you will just write then you will put a printf statement and printing out the output as a sum of those two numbers. Okay, no, Shraddha. There is no certificate in this program. So this is the syntax of your simple comments, right? You have single line comments. That is, a single line will be ignored by the compiler, or you have multi-line. That is, you're starting from your backslash, then the asterisk, then asterisk, and backslash. Okay, that's it. Okay. Now, what about tokens? Now these tokens are very important. Okay, so anything that you will see, right? Let's suppose this is a definite right, there are different types of tokens. One is the identifier. So let's suppose you have this this double quotes or curly braces, or what you can say that these forwards these comments forward slash, these are all your identifiers. Okay, they are either they have a user defined name, or they are abbreviated, or x y, what are your variable names. These are all your identifiers, right? Now what about the keywords? Obviously, now if anything is anything have or anything is reserved, there's a special purpose for them, like int, float, you cannot use them. Okay, they have a special purpose, that this is a variable which will store only integer. We will talk about these data types more and more. Okay, float, then there is double. Okay, so all of these are your data types and these are all your keywords. So this is again a token. Then you have constants, right? Like if you define a constant, let's suppose const, and then you say x. Now this x, if it contains 10, you cannot change it. This is reserved and this is fixed and you cannot change this value. Again, this is a token. Okay, then you have strings. Then you have a string means nothing but a sequence of characters. Then you have operators like addition, subtraction, division. All of these are tokens. Okay, then you have special symbols like preprocessor directive. Okay, like which we saw in which will help us in linking the files. Hash include studio. Then we have hash, we can define macros with the help of hash. Okay, we can define our own data type with the help of hash. Okay, so this hash symbol, this special symbol, preprocessor directive, or octathorpe, which is also known. Why is float used? We'll explain when we talk about data types, Gitesh. Ankit says please explain get. So get character means get a character. Okay, once you run your program, it will stop unless and until it will get a character. When now you press a tab or anything, press a space bar, M, A, B, C, anything, unless and until you press that thing, it will hold your screen. And once you are holding that screen, and once you press that any button, then it will get back out of that screen. Okay, it will go back to your program wherever you run this program. Okay, all right, good. So these are all this is all about tokens. Okay, now what about variables? Now this is the most important thing. Now if you want to store anything, like I told you please store 10 in the memory. Now how would you do that? Therein your variable comes into picture. It is a memory reference whose value changes during execution. Now the first thing is that if if I told you please store 10, later on I told you please add 1 to this 10, you should be able to do that. You are able to do that with the help of this variable. Okay, this is a memory reference which you can change later on. Okay, so use of int and float, can you explain? Akshay, I will explain it again once we cover data types, and it will be after this slide. Okay, when you're finishing this session you will give a certificate. No, Praveen, for this no. Okay, I missed yesterday class, where can I get that? Was it a session that you're talking about? Extra step? Will I get a certificate from this session? No, no, no. There will be no certificate for this live session. Okay, guys. We might provide for some live sessions, but mostly there is no certificate for live sessions. How to use alert? Are you talking about something which is related to JavaScript? So alert can be used obviously directly, alert, and then the message that you want to put. Okay. Which language first to learn? C, Suraj. Okay. Okay, great. So now this is, let's suppose this is your memory, and I will use, for simplicity, I will use this position to be a hexadecimal number. For obviously this location or address will be a hexadecimal number. For simplicity, I am putting an integer value. Let's suppose the address is 1000. Now instead of referring to this 1000 directly, what I did, I used a variable x which is referring to this particular location. Okay, now with the help of this x, I will be able to refer to this location. So this is the beauty of using a variable. Now how would you define this? So you will say int, first let me put, this is a data type. Okay, you will put a data type, then a variable name. Let's suppose in this case it was x. Now this x is used for referring, then equal to a value. Let's suppose the value is in this case, let's suppose 10. Now 10 will be stored at this location. Okay, let me do a different color. So at this position you will be storing a 10. Okay, so this is how you do it. Or there's a different thing, you can say int x, then in the next line you will say x is equivalent to 10. So this is also how you define it. Or you can say int x equal to 10 in a single line. Okay, is this thing clear? What is loops? We'll cover this as well. Okay, we'll cover what are loops as well. Please unblock me. I want to ask question. You are unblocked. You are unblocked. That's why I can see you. How was it? Okay. Okay. Great. Okay, guys. Keep interacting. Keep asking questions, guys. Okay. Now, why do we do this thing? Why do we have variables in place? Obviously, now makes memory handling easy. Now we can easily handle this memory. We can change. We can reuse this location, and referencing makes it's easy for us. Okay. Okay. Done. Then now let's talk about this in more detail. Now what is this int? It is a data type. What is this double? It is a data type. Now these are the variable names, right? These are the variable names, and these are your values. Okay. Now can you anyone tell me what will be the output over here? So you have this studio for what? For printing, because you are using. Let me just debrief, or what you can say that, let me just demystify all of these things. So int main. Why is int written over here? Because you are returning 0. Okay. What is main? This is your driver function. What is this? Because you are using printf and scanf will be used later on for inputting the value. Right now you are directly putting int a equal to 10 over here. You can also use a scanf. Okay, so that is for input. Okay, for output you are using printf. Why is conio? Because you is using this getch function. Okay, for holding the screen. Now these are the values: int a equal to 10, double b equal to 20. Now what you are doing, these are access modifiers. We'll talk about them as well. For now you can think of them as something which will help you to access these values. Okay, these are access modifiers. Okay, 10, 20. Now basically what I'm doing, I'm adding a and b, and then I'm printing them together. Okay, with the help of %d. Okay, we'll talk about these access modifiers more and more. Okay, so don't worry. So which software is best for beginner, VS Code or Dave C++? Dave C++. So okay, Arpita says 30. Okay, 30.0. Okay, quickly guys. Sir, what is printf? Printf is nothing but it is something which is used to print out anything on your console. Just like you have C in C out in C++, you have console.log in JavaScript, you have print in in Python. Okay, so like that. In Java you have system.out.println. Okay, so the output will be 30.0. Okay, is this thing clear? 30.0. Okay, so this is a simple program. Now what about the input and output? So when you talk about C, right, when you talk about C, it supports these things, right? So we have already seen printf. Similarly you have scanf. This is for input and this is for output. Similarly you have get char. So it will only get one character. Okay, get a character. This is used for output. This put char is used for putting a single character. Put char, put a character, only one character. Now if you want to get a bunch of characters, you will say get s, which means get a string. Okay, similarly put string, put a string. Okay, so this is again used for output, similarly to print out anything. And similarly you can use for input you can use puts, put s, that means put string. Okay, so these are all your input and output. Now what about the access modifiers that we just talked about? Okay, first learn C programming. Yes, yes, yes. What is a keyword? Keyword is something which is a special purpose, which what you say that the value of those things is reserved, right? You cannot change them. They have a specific purpose and you cannot use them for writing your variables or creating variables. You cannot use those things. Okay, they have a special purpose and those are reserved. You cannot have those keywords cannot be used as functions. Okay, function name, those keywords cannot be used as a variable name, anything. Okay, so in HTML, submit button, sir, in HTML, who to link submit button to another HTML. So you're talking about when you are submitting your button, what is the link, what do you write in that link, right? Is that what you're asking? What is a string? String is a contiguous, or you can say string is something like you say a character. What is a character? A is a character. Now ABC is a string. More than one character is a string. Okay. Am I aiming to become I have to learn. Please name those languages. For AI, obviously you should have a good understanding of any programming language. It can be Java, C, C++. Okay. Keywords are reserved words. Yes, Varun. Sir, why? Yes, as now I'm talking about that this person DLF. Okay. So now if you see over here, this is to inform anything. You are informing your browser that whatever I'm printing, it is an integer. And how do you do that? With the help of this access modifier that is over here, or how you format your strings. So you tell your browser, or you tell your compiler, not browser, you tell your compiler that this is an integer, and for that you will use %d. In order to tell your compiler that okay, yes, you can say that sequence of characters. Yes, exactly. So why identifiers are used? Because obviously now when your compiling your compiler is compiling your program, he should know what are these double quotes, right? What are these double forward slashes? What are these? So that is for the same reason identifiers are used. They are used so that our compiler will know, okay, that whenever there is a forward slash and then there is an asterisk, this will help your compiler to know, okay, this is a multi-line comment and I have to ignore this. Okay, %d means for integers. Yes. So what is the declaration of a string? I will explain it in further slides. Okay, so don't worry. Yes, integer size also I will define it when we talk about data types. Okay, so don't worry about it. Okay, cool. Now for floating point you will use %f. Okay, for characters, for a single character you will use %c. For a string, now since there is a stream of character, then you will use %s. Okay, is it okay, right? So now let's talk about data types. Now there are three different types of data types. One is the primitive data type, another is the derived, and then you have user defined data types. For inbuilt data types, right, which are already there, we have boolean, character, integer, float, double, and void. Okay, so these are inbuilt. Like we haven't defined this int, so this is already there, right? Floating point means 30.0, right? 3.14, right? So these are all your floating point. And LF means LF means that you are explicitly saying that this is a long float. Okay. So Python is needful for AI. Yes, yes, Python is required. Okay. Yes, yes, Varun. So what about derived? So if anything in your derived data types, obviously now array is nothing but it can be a set, it can be a you can club number of integers together, right? You have array of size 3, and in you are whatever you are storing in your array is of type integer. So these are all dependent on this primitive data types, right? Array is nothing but you can say array as a contiguous memory location wherein you can store your data. Okay. Yes, double, right? So you have similarly you have double, float, and this. Okay. Sir, what is a function? Define. What's function definition? You can say a function if you want to execute some part of your code again and again. You can use a function, and it helps you to make your code modular, right? Now, what do you mean by modules? Now, if anything is in the form of modules, right? So let me just clear my screen. So if you this is your program and you have written everything in just like this, there are no functions and at all. Now if there is an error, now you have to look for each and everything. Now instead, if you have these two different programs and you have function 1 over here and function second over here, you are dividing your these part of code into functions, you are making them modular, right? Now what happens if there is an error, you can directly justify, or it is much more easy to find errors, right? You can directly go into that file and look for an error and rectify it rather than going for everything each and again. Okay. Okay, double means the size. The size is different. So if I'm talking about float, the size of float is 4. Now, if I'm talking of 4 bytes, right? Now, if I'm talking about double, the size is we have enumeration. Okay, so this is also used for enumerating data types. Let's suppose you want to associate a value with a particular. Let's suppose you have months, right, from Jan to December. Now you want to associate a number with it. 1 represents Jan and 12 represents December. So you can do that with the help of enumeration. Similarly, you have union wherein you can club different types of data. Let's suppose you have int, you have float, and now how the same thing can be done in the structure as well. Now what is the difference? Difference is in terms of size. Now it takes in structure, it will take the sum of all the data types that you have used, right? So int is 4 and float is 4, the size will be 8. Now if there's a double as well, so its size will be 16, but in union it will take the size of the highest one, right? In this case the size will be only 8, not 4 and 4, that is 4 plus 4 plus 8, that is 16. It will be 8. So this is what is the difference between a structure and a union. Okay, now let's continue. Now let's talk about operators, guys. Now let me just clarify one thing. Now this is just a prerequisite, right? Now anything that you want to ask me, right, we have a full-fledged course on C on our YouTube channel. Okay, so what you have to do, you can ask me questions over here, anything that is related to anything. Now if you want to get into more details, we have a course, right? And you want to get a certificate, we have a course available on our Great Learning Academy as well. There is a course on C wherein each and everything is explained. This is just a prerequisite for that. Okay, so you just ask me questions over here, then go and subscribe to our channel, and we have a course on C. Go through it, everything is explained in a detailed manner. Each and every topic is run on an IDE, and the IDE that we will be using on that in that course is Dev C++. So don't worry about I'm not getting this, I'm not getting that. Don't worry about it. Okay, just ask me questions, and if you have anything related to like let's suppose what is this data type, why do we use these data types, just to make different yes, which course is best after BCA, BCS, I don't get it. Mathematical and logical manipulation, is it it is mathematical. Okay. Okay, Arpita, can you just are you looking for mathematical and logical manipulation? For that we have bitwise operators, we have logical operators. Okay. Yes, Abdul. Yes, it will be on our YouTube channel. Okay. What is the use of certificate? So obviously now when you get a certificate, now when an interviewer sees that certification, right, it will see the completion certificate for this course. Now he will be asking you what you learned in that course. Are there any projects that you did after learning that course? That is where it gets trickier, right? So you have you did a course on what you say on Java. Now, did you, whatever was there in that course, did you did anything else apart from that, right? Are you able to create something? Let's suppose if we have, if you have gone through our courses, right, on our Great Learning Academy, there's a course on Java. Now, once you complete that course, there's another course that is a tic-tac-toe game, right? So you can say that, okay, I did this course, and then I built this game with the help of this course. This is my learning from that, and you need to justify that. If you're able to justify that, then it's okay. Okay, it's done. So derived types, can you explain me again? So derived types is something that has been derived from inbuilt. So obviously, now if you talk about anything array, right? Array is nothing but it contains integer types of data types, right? It is something which is related to x, y, z, right? Let me just clear this out. Now let's suppose array. So array is a replacement of multiple variables. Now let's suppose you have a variable a which contains 10, variable b which contains 20, variable c which contains 30. Now, is there a way you can club this? Yes, there is a way you can club this. You can create an array of integers of size 3 and you will place 10, 20 and 30 in it. So this is 0 index, this is 1 index, this is 2 index. So obviously now if you see in this derived data type that you have used, you are internally using these built-in data types, right? So integer type. Okay. Sahib says, please answer. Can you just write it again? I might have skipped it, okay, while explaining. Write it again, okay? Yes, all languages, okay? So we have courses available. Swapnil says array is a block of statement. No, not a block of statement, but array is nothing but a replacement of multiple variables. And array is in array you are able to store your variables in a contiguous memory allocation. That means if this is 100, the next will be 104, the next will be 108. Contiguous memory allocations is possible in array. Nikhil says, sir, can you explain floating point round off error? So basically what happens in that, when you're trying to round off, let's suppose you have a floating point 4.5. Now you want to round it off, right? So, or you can say that there's a truncation. Now there are two things, right? In integer, if you have something written here, so what happens if, okay, let me put a question. So before putting up these questions, let me just I'm in a dilemma which language I should learn and how far should I make. So if you are just starting learning languages, right, you don't have any experience, right, Babu? So if you don't have any experience, right, you can go with C. Then understand the concept of all the programming concepts like data types. What are data types? What are looping? What is a loop? Control statements. What are those control statements? Everything, right? Once you have that knowledge and once you type in whatever you are learning or when you code it out, after that you can easily go for any language, right? Now if you directly want to jump into Python, that it will be difficult for you to learn that directly, because that Python is entirely dependent on the on how you write it, rather than writing into curly braces. That is control, the spacing is there, a lot of things are there. And again, if you have something written over here, int x, right, you are, this is a dynamically this is a statically typed language. When you write int x, this means that you are telling your compiler that this is an integer. In Python this is not the case. You will write, in JavaScript even, you will write var x. Now this is dependent on the value that you put over here. That is known as dynamically typed language. Now C is a statically typed language. Okay, so okay, so now then you have references and then you have pointers. Pointers mean addresses, how you can refer to a particular address and how you fetch a value. We'll talk about that as well if time allows. Okay, so now let's talk about these operators, right? So we have arithmetic operators, right? And we have a unary operator and we have a binary operator. In unary operator we have this pre and post. So these are, we can have a pre-increment operator in this binary, right? In this unary operator we can have a pre-increment and post-increment. So let me put a question for you guys. Okay, okay, So you have int a equal to 10. Now what I'm doing, I am writing printf %d for letting the browser know that this is a integer, and I'm writing a. Then again printf %d in double quotes a plus plus. Then I'm writing printf %d plus plus a. What will be the output, guys? What will be the output? Okay, okay, Nikhil. So in the meanwhile, let's try to cover the rest of the questions. So Python programming is future trending. You can say that, but Python and JavaScript is most widely used with Node.js and React.js coming into picture. Python might JavaScript has much more, now you can say, a future as compared to Python. So what is the language? What is the best language learning for Python and JavaScript? Okay, pointer is to store another address. Yes. Okay, sir, you were talking about floating point. Okay, so now Nikhil, what happens in floating point? Let's suppose you have this integer, right? You have write it in a single line, guys. Write it in a single line. Okay, so you have this 10, and in your int x you have written 10.0 or 10.4. What happens to this 0.4 part, right? What happens to that? It will be truncated, it will be removed, it will be neglected, right? And you will get, when you're trying to print x, you will get value as 10. The 0.4 part will be truncated. That is known as the process of truncation. Okay, and how do you spell it? You will spell it like this: truncate. Okay, the value will be truncated. Okay, now similarly, when you are dealing with floating point numbers, there is something that round off. We have a different functions for rounding off those values, right? So let's suppose if any value is greater than 10.8 or greater than 10.5, 10.6, like that. So you want to round off it. So round off is the process wherein you have that explicit function which is available in our math library, wherein you are rounding off those numbers. Okay, so I will try to explain that as well. Okay, so okay, 10, 11, 11. Okay, 10, 11, 12. Okay, guys, so the answer to this particular question is that, so here what happens, 10 will be printed. Here what happens, a plus plus. Now what happens in this is a post increment. That means first assign the value, then increment. So here what will be the value? It will be again a 10, not 11. Okay, and then in the next step you will increment, right? So here it will be 11, in the next step here it will be 10, in the next step it will be 11. Now here it is pre-increment. First increment, that means 11 will become 12, then assign it to a. That means it will be the output as 10, 10, 12. Okay, Varun, yes, you are correct. Okay, rest of the guys, is this clear? What happened over here? Quickly, yes, no. So let me put it again. Let me just clear out some part of it. So the output will be 10, 10, and 12. So we all know the value of a. Okay. Okay. So let's put it again. So here we have this, and this. Okay. So int a is equivalent to 10. Okay. So now what happened? Okay. So now when I do plus plus a, it means first increment the value. That means if a is equal to 10, that this is the memory, right? So it says that first increment. So this 10 will become 11, and then assign it to a. So a is assigned, right? Similarly, now what happens in this case? Now in the case where we are talking about this thing. So we have in a, we have 10. So here, what is the value of a? It is 10. So output will be 10. No problem in this. Now here, it is a post increment. That means first assign the value. What is the value of a? Please assign that to this particular excess modifier. That means please print that value. So the value of a is still 10, so 10 will be printed and then incremented. So now it will be incremented to 11, okay, in the memory. Now in this step what happens, this is pre-increment. That means first increment the value, that means first increment this to 12 and then assign it to a, then assign to this, okay. So here what will be the value, it will be 12. Is this thing clear? So the output will be 10, 10 and 12. Is this thing clear? I hope this is clear, guys. Okay, great. Now this is these increment operators are known as unary operators, okay. So where you have only one operand. Operand means this 10, 11, 12, these values. So a plus b, a and b are operands and this is your operator, okay. Okay, great. So now these are all your what you can say that these are all your arithmetic operators. And then you have binary operators where you have two operands, two different operators, operands, right. You need to have two operands and an operator. So you can say that, okay, this is a binary operation, and then in that you have plus, minus, multiplication, division and all those things. Take one more question. Okay, let me take one more question. And this time let's try to make it a little bit complicated, okay. So you have int a equal to 5, then you have print f %d, and you will say, let's suppose I'll say a minus minus, then I will say %d plus a, then I will say a plus, and then I will print a %d a, okay. Write it in a single line, guys, write it in a single line. So you will be having 1, 2, 3 and 4 outputs, okay. Quickly. What will be the output over here? And similarly this can happen for decrement as well as increment, okay. 5, 5, 5, okay, 5, only 4, Karthik, there will be 4 options, only 4 outputs. You have only 4 printf statements, so output will be not more than 4. Gitish says 5, 7, 5, 5, okay, 5, 7, 5, 5, okay. Quickly, guys. Namrata says 5, 5, 5. 6 is the answer. Vinay says. Babu says 5. Okay. Divya says 5, 5, 6. Okay. 5, 7, 5, 5. Okay. Okay, we have a lot of answers. So now let's try to debug it. Okay. So we have. Let's try to make a memory map over here. Let me just erase it first. So these questions are asked in your interview, be it anything, right? So if you're having any college interview or placement type thing, at that time they might ask you, even your vivas that you have. So you have 5 over here. Now what is happening? Printf a minus minus. That means first assign. That means obviously here we will have the output as 5. Then decrement. So it will be decremented to 4. Here what happens? First increment the value. So we will increment it to 5, then assign it to a, this %d, what you say, excess modifier. So the output will be 5. Here what you are saying, first assign, that means a will be assigned, and what is the value of a? 5 will be printed, then increment. So incremented value will be 6. Then here you don't have any statement left, so output will be just printing out this. So output will be 5, 5 and 6. Okay. Okay. Yes, correct. A lot of you guys are answering it correctly. Great. Okay. So now the output is 5, 5, 5 and 6. Okay. Now let's move on to the relational operators. So now if you talk about these relational operators, right? It is used for obviously now if you want to compare, yes Namrata. So now if you want to comparison, you want to check whether this number is greater than that, this number is greater than that, this number is less than that, are these two numbers equal? At that time you will use relational operators. And similarly when you want to combine those relational operators, right, those comparisons, you want to combine them or you want to add two or more conditions, at that time you will use logical operators, and, or, and not. Now let me give you an example and let's understand what will be the output. Okay, so you have if, let's suppose you have if, and you will say if a or value, let me put in two variables, a is equal to 10 and b is equal to 20. If a is greater than b, or I will say here printf percent d, or let me put it this way, I'm trying to complicate a little, complicate these things, and these questions are being asked. Okay, printf percent, or you can say not percent d. Let me put a simple string as an output. Okay, I'll say print in a string hello. That's it. I used a different color. I should have used any other color. So I will say print hello. What will be the output, guys? And in this, I'm printing out again by. In this block, I am printing by, and then in the else block, I am saying hi. What will be the output, guys? Quickly. Okay, not clear. Let me put it again. So you have if a is greater than b and printf hello in a string, and then if this statement is true, what you say? You will say printf hi. If this statement is not true, you will say else. I'm using these curly braces, these are optional when you have only one statement, but for your to make it more readable, I'm using this. Okay, you will say bye. One second, you will say bye. Okay, and now what about the values of a and b? A is 10 and b is 20. You have int a over here, int b over here. Okay, so now what will be the output? Okay, hi. Okay, all of you are saying hi. Okay, 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 error. Okay, okay, okay. So now let me just this is the most widely asked question. So how can you put printf and the condition in the same block? You can do it. You can do it. You try it out in your IDs. You can do it. So that is the beauty of this thing. You can do it. This is one condition and this is another condition. It will return some value, right? It can be, it will return some value whenever you are doing a printf statement. It will always, whenever you are using a printf statement, it will always return a number of characters that are there. So in this case, it will return 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, now we all know if we have something like this, if 1, if true, if 2, if 3, if 5, so it all means that the condition is true, right? Does this make sense? Right? So now what we are doing over here, but that is not the case. Now what we are doing over here, that is the second part, right? That is the condition, this is the second condition. But how and works, now this all depends on how and works. Okay, so and works in such a way that if this statement is true, only then go and check if this statement is true. Over here, a is not greater than b, right? A is not greater than b, so it will not go to that statement. Okay, okay, it will not go to this statement, this condition, and check it. So simply it will just break out of this if condition and it will print by, because a is not greater than b. Correct? Both the statements need to be true. Since it is not true, it will not check for this. Now I will just simply replace one thing, and let me just clear out this thing, this whole thing. So in this case, the output will be by. Okay. Yes, then and the statement will not be checked. Correct, correct, Swapnil. Okay. So now I will simply change now this thing. Mm, I'll simply change this and let me just remove all these things. Okay. So I will just simply uh, change this to or. Now what will be the output, guys? Quickly. Jigger says how to earn money as a freelancer. So for Jigger, that you need to for that you need to have a good software experience, right? You need to showcase your projects. You need to show, okay, this is the thing that I did, this is the thing that I did. All of those you need to showcase them, and only then you can start getting those projects. You have Fever is there, Quicker is there, and you can get projects from them. Okay. Okay, so here what will be the output? It will be first, obviously. Now this statement is not true, right? This statement is not true. This is false. This is false, right? This statement is false. Now what about this? This is true because it will return some value, that is some integer value. It will return 5, and then that means this statement is true. Plus it will print this hello. So the output will be hello, hi. Okay. Yes, Karthik, correct. Okay. Okay, great, great. Okay, all right. So thank you so much, guys. And I think the session is about to get, and I need to conclude this session as we have already exhausted the time. So I'll see you in the next session, and we'll try to continue. And in the meanwhile, what you can do, you just go through this session and go through the session that we have already. Go to the course that we have already on our YouTube channel, and plus for certification, you can always refer to our Great Learning Academy. Okay. Yes, the output will be hello, hi. Great. All right. So I'll be concluding this session, and thank you so much for your time, guys. Okay. And I hope you enjoyed this session. I wanted to cover so many things, and but since we have this time constraint, I'll see you in the next. Okay. Okay. Great. Great, guys. Thank you. Thank you so much, guys. Please stay safe and stay home. All right. Thank you so much.